Hi, I'm Christy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm here to chat about all the holiday romance novellas. So I think I have a list of like 76. We're just gonna jump into them and go through them rapid fire style. Alright, so like I said, there are 76 on my list here. A majority of these I have read, so if you want to see my thoughts on those, I do review all the books that I read on Goodreads, and you can always get to my Goodreads reviews through the links in the description of my videos, which of course I will tell you if I have read the ones that I'm going to talk about or not, or if they're on my TBR, kind of things like that as I talk about each book. We're going to just quickly get into it because it's a lot of books to talk about. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you definitely should, because that is where I shared this first couple weeks ago. That is where I share a ton more recommendations and just things that I can quickly get content out for, more so than I can on YouTube, so definitely check out there as well. If you don't follow me over there, you should. And of course, if you need to see more, like the book title, the author name, if you missed it, I will link every single one that I talk about in the description of this video as well, so you can quickly get to them. So let's get into this because we have a lot to talk about. First up, we have Gifted to His Dad by J. Wilder. I actually just read this one and enjoyed it. This one is exactly as it sounds. Basically, in here, the heroine and her boyfriend are going to spend the holidays together, and he decides he wants to share her with his stepdad, who he met when he was an adult. Like, the stepdad didn't come into his life until a lot later in his life, so as an adult, and so he has just a really close relationship with him, which his mom isn't even with the stepdad anymore, and so they're just in one another's lives. And the boyfriend of the heroine, he has always wanted to share with his stepdad, and so he's like, I found the perfect girl, you're gonna love her too. And so it kind of quickly goes from there. It delivers on exactly what the title would suggest. Like, it is an MFM. It's just a fun time. So the next one is Set the Record Straight by Hannah Bonham Young. So this is a sapphic novella. I read this one, I want to say 2 years ago when it came out, and so this one is available like the audio on Hoopla, so definitely check there if you haven't. I feel like all of this author's audios are available on Hoopla, or they were for me, so maybe check your library resources. This one is Friends to Lovers. It has fake dating, it has autism and neurodivergent rep as well for the characters, and a fun one. So if you want sapphic, where they were childhood friends turned lovers, that is this one right here. Next up is A Naughty List for Christmas by Cate Summers. So this one I have not read yet. This is part of a 4 kind of romance authors ended up doing a holiday collection series together that is releasing this winter, and so this one I haven't read yet. This one is called A Naughty List for Christmas, like I said, by Cate Summers, and in this one I think they are co-workers. They work at the same resort. Yeah, they work at the same resort together, and the heroine in here has a bucket list of spicy things she's read about but never experienced, and so she decides to ask the hero, or her co-worker, if he wants to help her kind of check some of these things off of her list. So that one sounds like a fun one. Next is If You Give a Grump, a Holiday Wish List by Ann Eiderson. This one came out last Christmas and I really enjoyed this one. It connects to her other small town series, Aspen Grove. So in this one, this is another workplace romance where the hero in here is the heroine's boss. There's age gap, and so basically in this one it's grumpy sunshine, fake dating. He's a billionaire, and in here the heroine works for the hero, and she wants to get away from his very intense schedule and take a break for the holiday season, which she usually never does. So she tells him, like, I'm having vacation this year, like, we're not forgetting about that. I'm going on vacation. You're gonna have to deal with your own life and work on your own, because he's very much like a workaholic. So he's like, well, where are you going? And she's like, I'm going home to my parents for the holidays. Like, I'm gonna spend time with my family. And so he decides to come along with her, and he's like, I will come with you. I'll stay in a hotel and we can have like work meetings during the day. Like, I need you nearby, and then you can spend time with your family. So of course, when she gets there, she's telling the hero, like, oh my God, I've talked crap to my family about you. Can we like pretend you're somebody else and that we're dating? So it kind of goes from there, and very early on, her mother sees the hero with the heroine, and she's like, well, if you guys are dating, you should stay at our house. You should stay in the same room. And it goes from there. It was just a really cute, fun time. So next up is No Harm, No Foul by Hannah Cowan. So I'm actually reading this one right now. It will be my first read from this author. So not gonna lie, the tropes for this one is what grabbed my attention. So this is small town, snowed in, ex's dad, accidental pregnancy, age gap, he's 15 years older, and he wanted her first. So I can't wait to get more into this one. Next up, we have Spiked Hot Chocolate by Rilzy Adams. So I read this one last winter, and I really enjoy Rilzy Adams's novellas. This one's really cute. The hero and the heroine, they actually end up at the same kind of restaurant solo by themselves, and so they end up sharing a table together because the restaurant is like, hey, would you guys mind sharing a table? Like, we kind of overbooked it, and we need to kind of sit this giant like family or party together. Like, can you possibly, you're both solo, like, can you share a table? And so they do, and they start talking, and it kind of goes from there. The heroine in this one had recently gotten out of a relationship, like a long-term, I want to say like 7-8 year relationship with her boyfriend, and so she kind of just broke up with him, I want to say like over Thanksgiving, and so she's alone. The hero as well is alone. He's a single dad, and he usually was going to have his daughter for Christmas, but something ended up coming up last minute with his ex, who wanted to have their daughter with her for the holiday season, which he has a good relationship with his ex, which I always like to see. So it kind of just goes from there with them deciding to spend that night together. They end up spending Christmas Eve and Christmas together, and it was just a really fun, cute time. All right, then we have I'll Be Home for Christmas by Beverly Jenkins. I actually haven't read this one yet. It's on my TBR for this winter. I have 2 from her on this list that I want to get to, and so this is one of them. It just gives like classic, cute Hallmark vibes, but Beverly Jenkins, which is one of my queens of historical romances, so I can't wait to read this one this holiday season. Another one on my TBR for this winter is The Christmas List by Maren Moore. So this is the newest release in her novella holiday collection series. This is book 3 in it. I've read the other 2, and so I'm excited to get to this one as well. This one is a single dad, second chance. She's the teacher. It's a holiday novella, and I can't wait to check it out. It's Trick Shot by Kayla Grouse. This one was a fun time. This one's an MMF, like poly situation. So basically in here, the heroine, she is at the airport and she's trying to catch a flight home for the holidays, and then she ends up seeing one of the heroes there, and she assumes he is his twin brother, who is a famous hockey player, but he's actually his brother's agent, like sports agent, and so they're twins, and so she assumes he's the hockey guy that she's into, and he ends up inviting her back to his place where he has a relationship already with the other hero, and they kind of just bring her into the fold, and it kind of goes from there. A little bit of hidden identity as well. So yeah, that is that one. Very steamy, fun time. I love that this author always writes plus size characters, so yeah, a fun one. Then we have A Very London Christmas by Sara Matterson. This one is a single dad nanny, grumpy sunshine. It's set in London, just like one of those classic like single dad nanny situation romances. Next we have Snowden by S.J. Tilley. This one actually comes out on December 10th, so it's probably going to be coming out by the time you see this video or around the same time, and I can't wait to check this one out. This is the second book in this like holiday novella collection series that this author writes, and I can't wait. They're all set in this like baking world, and I'm very excited because I did enjoy the first one last winter, so I'm excited for this one. All right, and then we have the other one I was talking about from Beverly Jenkins. This one's on my TBR, so that is This Christmas Rivalry. Can't wait to check it out. Again, I love the like very like Hallmark classic Christmas kind of cover and vibe. I could see these as movies. I'm excited to check it out. Next is A Festive Feud by Maren Moore. So like I was saying earlier, for her holiday novella collection series, this is one of the books in the series. This is the one that came out last year, so it's 2 in the series. This one I enjoyed. It was a fun time. Basically in here, the hero and the heroine are feuding. They don't get along. I think in here, like their families have had like feuding giant Christmas parties as a part of the town. The townspeople kind of pick which Christmas party they want to go to. It's a whole big thing. And so basically in here, the hero and the heroine are arguing, and they're in a store, and she ends up breaking something in the store when they're arguing, and so they end up getting locked up in jail for the night together. And so the whole town and the sheriff and everybody and the mayor, I want to say, they're all like, okay, we're tired of your two's like shenanigans. You need to figure it out. You know what? You guys need to plan a joint Christmas party this year together to like finally get over this whole rivalry situation. And so it goes from there, and it was a cute, fun time. Then we have My Ex for Christmas by Bobby McLaren. This one just came out at the very end of November, so I still need to read it. And this one, like, it's an ex second chance. Can't wait to check it out. It's part of that like holiday romance novella collection series I talked about from 4 other romance authors. This is one of them in the series as well. Then we have Christmas Cupid by Ilsa Madden Mills. This one is a, I want to say brother's best friend slash friend, teammate of her brother. I want to say the hero plays hockey, and the heroine in here is a cowboy boot designer, I want to say. And they end up in this like situation together where I think her brother told her she could have this house for Christmas alone, and then he also ended up giving it to his teammate slash friend as well, the hero. And so they end up at the same place, and it kind of goes from there. Very over the top and kind of quick and dramatic. Then we have Winter Breakup by Carrie Aarons. This one came out last year, and I did enjoy this one. This one in here, the hero and the heroine have been like childhood friends, best friends. I think it's also brother's best friend, where he's friends with her brother as well, and they kind of all 3 hung out together growing up. And so they all worked at her family's Christmas tree farm over the holidays. I want to say it's her family's, I believe. And so now they're away at college, and now they're back in one another's lives because they're on holiday break from college, and so they're both working at her family's Christmas tree farm just for like old time's sake. And a lot of like old feelings get pulled back in, and so it goes from there. Next we have Holiday Honey, and this one is so much fun. I wish more people would read this one. So this one is basically kind of like a date for hire situation, but set around the holidays. I loved seeing the hero and the heroine in here. It has that kind of that fake dating setup with being a hired date. So they end up going and spending like a ton of different holiday dinners at different family and friends' houses while they're fake dating. It's just so much fun. Highly recommend. Next is The Holiday Clause by Ann Einerson. This one just came out on December 6th. I did read an arc of this one early, and it was so cute and so fun. I love Ann Einerson's books. So this one is Brother's Best Friend. It's small town. The hero is a billionaire. It has a little bit of an age gap. He's a little bit older, and they end up having forced proximity as well because they end up having to stay in the same cottage together at his grandmother's inn for the holiday season while they're also working together on her brother's engagement slash wedding. And it's just so cute and fun. He was like her childhood crush, and it goes from there, and it's so fun. Next we have My Rival for Christmas by Sarah E. Green, and this is part of that holiday novella collection series with 4 other authors, and this one comes out on December 16th. I actually got to beta read this one, and I had such a good time with this one. It's was so stinking fun. Basically in here, the hero and the heroine were former ice skating partners, and they had like that ice skating partnership for years, and they had a falling out. They had a breakup of their skating partnership, and so now it's years later, they end up at the same resort for the holiday season, and there's all these like old feelings and bantery moments. It's just so stinking good. They get like a little snowed in forced proximity situation, ice skating. Ugh, I just ate it up. So yeah, December 16th for that one. Next is Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn. So I read this one 2 years ago when it came out. This one was really cute. Second chance romance, low inks, no steam. So if you don't want steam in your holiday romances, this one will deliver on that. This one, the hero and the heroine, they actually dated in high school, and they ended up breaking up because the heroine didn't want to stay in their hometown. She wanted to kind of go off to the big city. And so they actually broke up, and they both ended up moving away, and now they're both back in their small town again, their hometown. This one was really fun. The hero in here, he owns a hardware store, and the heroine is fixing up her family's home, and so she's going there a lot, and they're both grumps, they're Grinches, they don't like the holiday season. And so basically in here, the local mailman, he starts delivering these letters to and from the hero and the heroine where they don't realize they're writing to each other, so it has like a hidden secret identity pen pal situation. Just a really cute one. And this one is, or I believe it was at least, on KU with the read and listen feature, so you get the audiobook with it, so definitely check that out as well. Next is Snowed In with a Player by Rebecca Jinchak. So this is the first book in a 2-part holiday novella series that she has. So this is Holiday with the Players. So this is the first novella in the series, and we follow these twin sisters, and it's kind of their college winter break, and they're at their family's like cabin for the winter season. When they get there, they realize that their brother is there as well. He's having a party with a bunch of his friends, and one of the friends is the heroine of this book's her crush, and he is like a football player for their college sports team as well. And they end up snowed in together, and it's just so cute and fun. I love when the heroine like finally gets her crush. Next is the Naughty List from Sara Cate. This one is a freebie, and it's on the author's website, so that's how you have to go and kind of access it or download it and get it. And this one I really enjoyed. This one is Taboo and Age Gap. Basically in here, the heroine is 19 and the hero is 40, and the hero is also the heroine's new step uncle. So basically she is going to spend the holidays with her mother and new stepdad, and the hero is there as well, and he is the brother of her new stepdad, and they decide to spend the holidays together instead in his camper that is at the property where they're all staying. And it is so delicious and so fun. I loved how in here as well, the heroine is trying to figure out what to do with her life and her next step with her kind of career goals, and it's just so good. He's super like supportive, and I love this one. So yeah, go grab this one from the author's website. Next is My December Darling by Lauren Asher. This is a new release from this year, and this one was so much fun. The audiobook for this one as well was available through Hoopla for me, so maybe go check out from your library as well. And this one was a fun time. Basically in here we have a small town. These are new characters, a new setting from the author, so they don't like really connect to any other of her worlds, so you can definitely just jump into this one as a standalone. In here we get like forced proximity. The hero is a doctor, the heroine is a traveling nurse, and so they have to work together. They also are in one another's lives because her sister is marrying his best friend, and so it kind of goes from there. They start to realize that they have things in common as they spend time together. They build like Lego sets together. It's just a really fun time. So yeah, definitely check this one out this season. All right, next up we have Alphame's to Lovers by Jennifer Chipman. This is actually one I haven't read yet, but it is on my TBR for the holiday season. This is a new release from this year, and I can't wait to get to it. This one is Frenemies to Lovers, Only One Bed, Slow Burn to Spice, kind of a fated mate setup where basically here the heroine doesn't know that she is the daughter of an elf, I believe, and the hero I want to say is Santa's son. So it has kind of this like really fun element to it. So it sounds like a really cute one, and I want to check it out this season. Okay, so we have Dancing in Lake Mistletoe by Amber Kelly. This one is on my TBR for this winter as well. Okay, so in this one, the heroine is a ballet dancer, and she is coming to this cute little small town, I think, to perform in the Nutcracker. And so she ends up meeting the hero there, who is an engineer, and he's working on some of the sets for the stage as well, and he's a single dad, and I think it goes from there. And so it sounds so cute and fun. My family and I always go and see the Nutcracker ballet every kind of after Thanksgiving season, and so I'm very excited to check this one out. I love like a ballet dancer book as well, so yeah, it sounds really cute and fun. Next is A Second Chance Road Trip for Christmas by Jackie Lau. This is part of her Holidays with the Wongs series, and I have read them all, and this is one of my favorites in the series. This is a second chance romance. It's a road trip. This one's set in Canada, and they're both going home for the holiday season to spend time with their families. So I want to say the hero's mom or something gets involved and basically is like, you need to help her out. She needs to come home too and see her family, and like, you guys are coming to the same place. Like, can't you just ride it together? And so there's a lot of like family meddling going on with this whole series. And so they end up getting like snowed in, and they have to stay at this inn together in only one room. Goes from there. It was so good. I loved these characters, and like I said, second chance, so good. Next we have Christmas in Quincy by Devney Perry. So this is part of her Edens series, but it kind of exists not following the Edens like siblings. It's just some people who come and stay at the inn. And so it's really cute and wintry, and I had a really good time with this one. Basically in here, the heroine is kind of like a rich girl, and her family has a lot of money, and so she wants to get away for the holiday season. She decides, you know what, I'm gonna go to this cute little inn in this snowy little town in Montana and get away from all of my family's like huge parties and fake friends. Like, I just want to go spend a perfect wintry holiday on my own. And so she goes and books a place at the inn, and then the hero shows up and he's basically like a bodyguard, or her father hired him to like watch after the heroine. So he's supposed to be there to convince her to come back home for the holiday season. And she's like, yeah, I'm not leaving, but you can stay here with me. And so it kind of goes from there with their time at the inn. So cute. Next we have Mistletoe and Mine by J.R. Jenner. This one's actually on my TBR for this year. I need to get to it because I read a holiday novella from this author last year that I loved. And so I can't wait. This author always writes like older characters. So I want to say they're like in their 30s and 40s. And I can't wait to check it out because I remember I loved the first holiday novella that she wrote last year. Next we have Once Upon a Christmas Tree by Lulu Moore. So this one is a holiday novella. It's also a prequel to a new series she has coming out next year. So it kind of ends on a happily for now kind of situation for the couple. So basically in here, the hero and his brothers end up deciding to go to Colorado for the holiday season. They are these kind of like wealthy, rich, billionaire kind of aristocrats from England. And so they take off from England to go spend the holidays together in Colorado. And the hero in here ends up running into the heroine who lives there, and it kind of goes from there. And so this one as well, I want to say it was available on Hoopla as well for the audio, so go check that out. Next is Only Santa's in the Building by Alexis Daria. So this is part of the Under the Mistletoe collection of holiday novellas that was released this year. I have an entire video talking about the 5 novellas part of this series. These are all on KU with the Read and Listen feature, and this one was a fun one. Basically in here, the heroine and the hero, they live in an apartment building, and they have both been crushing on one another, and neither realizes that the other one is as well. And it goes from there. Very short and sweet, a cute one. Next we have Shortbread and the Scotsman by Lana Dash. I read these ones maybe a year or 2 ago, and they're just short and cute and sweet and fun. And so it takes place in Scotland. There's baking involved, like say less. They were a really fun time. Then we have Let It Snow by Casey Cross. I read this one years ago and still think about it. It was so stinking cute. This is childhood friends to lovers. There's a road trip situation and they end up getting snowed in together. So cute. I am a sucker for friends to lovers for life. Love this one so much. Definitely check it out because it's so underrated. Next is Merry Christmas by Piper Rain. I just read this one this season. They're all available, like the audios, on Hoopla and Libby, so maybe check your library resources. This one was a fun time. So basically in here, the hero and the heroine had a moment in the past. They shared like a perfect weekend together, and things kind of blew up, and they realized that he was her TA for her college study abroad program, and so they went their separate ways. And now it's years later, and they end up on the same holiday vacation together, and so they have to share a villa, so it has forced proximity, and it goes from there. Really fun, cute time. Next up is Two of a Kind by Eden Emery and Ashley Pines. So this is a sapphic holiday novella with forced proximity. They get snowed in. Basically in here, the heroines and their friends are spending like the holiday season at a cabin together, and they end up getting snowed in, and the heroines in here have a past together. This one, just know it does deal with kind of loss of a loved one and some grief as well. Basically in here, the two heroines are kind of still grieving their friend who they lost. Well, it was one of the heroine's friends, and it was the other heroine's fiance. They have a past and a connection. It's very angsty and emotional. So yeah, sapphic holiday romance, but it does have like some content warnings to check out if you need to. Next we have The Naughty, the Nice, and the Nanny by Devaney Perry. So this is part of her Holiday Brothers collection of novellas. There's 3 novellas in the series, and this one is my favorite of the series. And as it suggests, it's a single dad and nanny romance, and it kind of goes from there. It's set in small town Montana, and they know one another, and the heroine is in town, and she needs a job for the season, and it kind of picks up from there. Next is Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandria Belflor. Again, this is part of the Under the Mistletoe collection, which I have a whole video of just those. I'll link it in the description of the video as well. And this one is one of my favorites as well. Basically in here, the hero is a fireman, and the heroine ends up having this like holiday baking disaster gone wrong where 911 has to be called. So the hero shows up, and then he has to come rescue her again another time. And it kind of just quickly goes from there. She's supposed to be just in town for a little bit, and he kind of convinces her to stay. And so it's so cute and fun. Next up is Wrapped Up in You by Talia Hibbert. I read this one years ago when it came out and loved it so much. Highly recommend. This one takes place in Scotland. They're childhood friends to lovers, and his brother's best friend as well. And they end up spending the holiday season at her grandmother's house. There's cats involved. This one was so cute and swoony and fun. Basically in here, the hero has been into the heroine forever. There's mutual pining, but neither of course realizes that the other one is into them. Basically the hero has this whole grand scheme idea that he's going to woo her this holiday season. He has a talk with her brother of like what he's gonna do, what he's gonna say, and then he just accidentally just spews it all out to her and expresses his feelings for her, and she panics and is thrown for a loop and like literally pushes him away and assumes he's having a midlife crisis because she's like, there's no way he's into me, I'm secretly into him. And so it is just so fun, so swoony. Like I said, there's only like light kissing in this one until the epilogue, and then they get steamy. So yeah, definitely a good one. I love Talia Hibbert's writing so much. Then we have My Fake Christmas Christmas Fiance by Julie Chris. So this one's exactly what it sounds like. It is a fake relationship, fake fiance type of situation, a kind of like fake engagement marriage of convenience, and it is an office workplace situation. Basically in here, the hero and the heroine, they both work for their fathers who both own Christmas businesses, and they find when this merger is happening, and part of the deal with the merger contract is for these two to get married. And so it kind of goes from there. Next is Sneaking Around with the Player by Rebecca Jinshak. So this is the second one in that holiday duet from her. So this one I haven't read yet, but I still need to, and it is the other twin sisters romance. So it says in here, it was supposed to be a quick conversation with a cute boy at the airport while I dodged my ex and his new girlfriend. We weren't supposed to trade numbers. He wasn't supposed to be a football player, and I definitely wasn't supposed to fall for him since he's attending a college 1,000 miles away. So this one sounds really cute and fun. I believe in here as well that you see kind of a glimpse of this situationship in the other novella as well, her twin sisters kind of like developing in the background. And so I definitely need to get to this one. Next is a new one that just came out this winter as well. So this is Chilled and Thrilled by Cleo White. This one says it's a forbidden best friend's dad holiday novella. I actually need to try this one out because I've heard amazing things. I actually have read one from this author in the past that I thought was just okay, but I've heard great things about this one, so I need to try them again. So yeah, that one is one I want to read this winter as well. December Midnights by Victoria Wilder. This is a one that's been out for a couple years, but the audiobook was just released this year. I read it this year and it was a fun, cute time. It basically takes place in Maine at this kind of like lighthouse inn, and we have this whole kind of like magical element to it. It's kind of described as like a practical magic type of situation where basically there is like kind of like matchmaking at play and fates and kind of this like fated situation between the hero and the heroine, where the heroine works at the inn and basically the hero is one of the new owners of the inn and or investors or something like that, and basically the heroine has a feeling or was told from her like matchmaker relative that this winter season is the season that she's going to find her person, and so she assumes it's the hero, and it kind of goes from there. Next we have The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner, one of my favorite holiday novellas. This one is so good. I read it years ago when it first came out and it's just so stinking good. This is second chance romance, so angsty, so emotional. Basically in here, the hero and the heroine are divorced and a kind of snowed in car crash situation happens where the heroine is back in their hometown to see her family, and she ends up getting stuck on the road and the hero comes and saves her. And so she has to stay with him at the cabin and they're snowed in together, and there's all this like reminiscing and thinking about their past relationship slash marriage, and it's just so stinking good. Highly recommend. Next is Cruel Winter with You by Allie Hazelwood. Again, part of that Under the Mistletoe collection from this year. These all have audiobooks through KU with the read and listen feature, and this one was one of my favorites as well. This is a brother's best friend setup, kind of a childhood friends turned enemies to lovers, one of my favorite tropes, and they kind of end up locked in, snowed in together, and it's just so stinking good. Mutual pining, he's been into her for a while, and just so cute and fun. I love the hero in this one. Next is Her Night with Santa by Adriana Herrera. This one is a sapphic romance, and it's very, very short, so I won't say too much about it, but basically in here, one of the heroines is Santa, and it kind of goes from there. Then we have Clause and Effect by Piper Rain. So this is part of her holiday novella series. I haven't read this one, but it kind of connects to the other one that I did read this winter, and so we follow some of the other characters in it, so I definitely want to check this one out. I know that my Hoopla has it available. Next we have The Toy King by Adriana Herrera. This one exists with the Her Night with a Santa. So in this one in here, the hero is kind of the delivery of toys, and he takes that very seriously, and so I think for the Christmas season he has to like, yeah, he is tasked with transporting his brother's future bride through the Andes, and a snowstorm leads them stranded together, and it kind of goes from there. Very short and sweet. Next is The Mistletoe Motive by Chloe Leese. I love this one to pieces. I read it years ago when it came out, and it is so stinking good. I think everybody should go read this one. Basically in here, the hero and the heroine are kind of opposites. They're bookshop co-managers together, and they're both kind of into different things. So he's into more mysteries and thrillers, and she's into like cutesy and rom-com and holidays. So they're both trying to save their independent bookstore, and they both have their own ideas. Like she wants to push romance books and he wants to push mysteries and thrillers, and so it kind of goes from there. And it's just so much fun, so swoony and so slow burn. It's just so singing good. I love the hate to love banter in here. We have autism rep, demisexual rep, we have type 1 diabetes rep. So many things packed into this one. I really loved it. Then we have Gifting Me to His Best Friend by Katie Robert. I feel like this is a classic. If you haven't read this one yet, you definitely need to. I read this one years ago when the series was coming out. This is part of her Touch a Taboo series, and this one is one of my favorites in it. So it's an MMF situation, and basically the heroine and her husband are staying together, and their best friend is there as well, and they end up, you know, all getting together at one point, and so it's just so steamy and so much fun. So we have Christmas at Fox Ridge by Bailey Hannah. This is actually one that I need to read. It just recently came out, and I've heard amazing things, so I can't wait to get to it. Then we have Sugar Cookies and the Single Dad by Brynn Hale. I read this one a couple years ago. very much set in Scotland again. We have that baking theme, and we have a single dad kind of situation, and it's just a fun time. The heroine in here is the teacher for the hero's daughter, and it kind of goes from there, and it's just so cute. Then we have Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey, part of that KU Read and Listen holiday collection series, and this one is just unhinged and wild, but like entertaining as well. Basically, the heroine is a single mom, and the hero is this kind of this big broody guy that she decides to help out and make clothes for, and it goes from there, and he's super into her and wants to spoil her. She thinks it's only a fling, he wants more. Then Single and Ready to Jingle by Piper Rain, again part of that like holiday novella collection from her. I haven't read this one yet, but it is on my Hoopla as well. Then we have A Highland Christmas by Samantha Young. This is part of her Highlands series. This one I did read I think last year when it came out, and if you like kind of more romantic suspense, small town set in Scottish Highlands, that's what this author delivers on. Next, if you want an alien sci-fi one, we have When She's Married by Ruby Dixon. This is part of her Risdiverse series, which I love to pieces. This is a novella in the series, and I had so much fun with this one. It was fun seeing kind of like the holidays on this kind of farming alien planet. Really fun time. I love Ruby Dixon. Then we have Silent Night by M.L. Philpott, I believe. This one I think is a dark holiday romance. I think it just came out this year, and I saw some friends loving it recently, but they did say it's dark and very like twisted taboo, I believe. Could be the case. So yeah, I want to check this one out this season. Then we have Dashing All the Way by Chelsea Curto. This one just came out on December 1st, and I need to get to it. It sounds so cute and fun. I love the cover. All right, we're almost to the end. So then we have 12 Dates of Christmas by Rilsey Adams. And this one is just as it is described, like they end up going on 12 different dates for Christmas, and it's just really cute and fun. Like I said, I love Rilsey Adams's holiday novellas. Then we have A Billionaire for Christmas by Adeline J. McLeod. This one is part of that holiday novella collection series from 4 different romance authors. This one comes out on December 13th, so I haven't read it yet, but it is a billionaire for Christmas. Like, what more do you want? I'm excited to get to this one. Next, we have The Naughty List by Ellie Mae McGregor. I love this one. It came out a couple years ago now, and it was just so stinking good. Basically, in here, we have plus size rep. The heroine in here is a single mom, and she falls asleep on her couch one night, kind of dreaming about Santa, and then Santa shows up, and he's ready to show her a good time on his sleigh, and it goes from there. And it's very much as it is sounding. So much fun. Then we have Mary in Moose Falls by Emily Silver. This is one I want to read this season. It just came out this year, and this one is an MM holiday romance, and it sounds so stinking good, and I love the cover. I love Emily Silver's writing, so I can't wait to get to this one. Then we have Christmas with the Wrights by Christina C. Jones. So this is part of her Wright Brothers series, so you kind of have to read that series because it's kind of a follow-up with those characters, but if you've read the Wright family series and you want more from them, definitely check out this one because it's so stinking good. I love that series so much. Then we have One Week with You by J.R. Jenner. So this one I read last year and loved it so much. It's so good, and it felt so different and fresh than other ones. Basically in here, the characters are older. They're in their like upper 30s, maybe 40s, which I love to see represented. I want to say this is brother's best friend as well, and they end up snowed in together for the holiday season, and it is just so good. Mutual pining. I loved how they're very like open with their communication with each other, and it just felt very mature with their situation and relationship, and I loved it. Next is A Rose Ridge Christmas by Ashley Munoz. So this is part of her Stone Writers MC series. This one just came out on December 6th, so I can't wait to grab it. It's actually coming out in a couple days when I'm filming this, and so I cannot wait. It will be out though by the time this video is up. This one is going to be connected to her Stone Writers MC series, so it's going to be a follow-up of those characters. So if you haven't read that, this one probably wouldn't be for you, but you should go read that series as well because it's so stinking good. Motorcycle club, kind of small town, but like a little bit of that darker element, but not too dark as some other MC series are. Highly recommend. I love them so much, and I can't wait for this one. Next, we have My Present This Year by Sara Simone. So this is a freebie on the author's website, so definitely go grab it. It is so much fun. It came out a couple years ago, and it is just unhinged and wild and fun, and I loved it. Basically in here, Sara Simone wanted to make a holiday short that had to kind of play in to that like very famous like Folgers Christmas commercial where it looked like these siblings were possibly like a little too friendly, and so it's kind of a play on that, but they're step siblings, and it's just so much fun. She's home for the holiday season, and it's just so stinking good. Really enjoyed this one. It's very short and sweet and steamy and so good. A Risk Worth Taking by Jessica Joyce. I love this author's books. I've read all of her books now, and this is a novella that she has. It came out, I want to say last year. Basically in this one, the heroine is ready for a new change to her life. Her family has kind of dubbed her name's Claire, but her family calls her Clareful. So they're basically like, you just do everything by the book, you never take risks, and your life is just very planned out. So she decides, you know what? I'm gonna change things up. I'm getting a one-way ticket to San Francisco, and I'm gonna go there and figure things out. And so she kind of has this like new fresh start to her life. And so right before she's about to leave, she ends up taking this last minute kind of like bartending job at a local bar. And so she kind of has like a meet cute situation with somebody cute there. And she decides, you know what, this is my chance for all these new things. I'm gonna go offer up to him a one night stand and see where it goes. And it's just so cute and fun. Really recommend this one. Then we have The Mistletoe Bet by Maren Moore. So this one is part of that holiday novella collection series that she has. This is the first one in it that came out a couple years ago. So this one is Brother's Best Friend. It's set in their small hometown. Basically the hero is a doctor there and the heroine is back in town just for the holiday season. She hates Christmas and the hero loves it, so he decides he's gonna set out to show her how amazing Christmas is. There's mutual pining and it goes from there, and it's so cute. And then these next two ones I have on my TBR this season. So we have The Christmas Exchange by Callie Melee. This one I think is an MMF, possibly, I wanna say, maybe. Has 3 people on the cover and they look like they're all together, so I am intrigued. I think it just came out this year. Then we also have Matching Under the Mistletoe by Holly Lucky. This one just came out on December 4th and it looks so stinking cute. I love the pink on here for the cover and I can't even remember what it's about, but I remember it sounded cute. So just came out and I want to check it out. It's small townish, I want to say. Then we have That Christmas Kind of Feeling by Hannah Bird. I read this one last year and loved it so stinking much. Basically in here, the hero and the heroine work together and the hero has always crushed on her, but she doesn't realize it. And there's like some mutual pining, but neither realize it. And I think she's supposed to watch his house for the holiday season or something. And so he is showing her everything of what to do at his house. And he goes to leave and realizes that they're now snowed in together and they have to spend the holiday season together. And it's so good. I love this one. Next is Define the Boss by A. Zavarelli. This is a lot older one that I read years and years ago now, but I remember it was like very fun for like a workplace boss type of situation romance. Kind of delivers exactly what you would expect. So if you haven't checked this one out, it is an older one, but it was a fun time. Then we have How the Monster Stole Me on Christmas Eve by Jade Price. I read this one a couple years ago and it is exactly what it sounds like, with a Grinch kind of style of hero and just so much fun. If you love monster romances, highly recommend. It's a fun time. And then the last one that I have is Mangles and Mistletoe by Adriana Herrera. This one is a sapphic, kind of a baking, cooking type situation and a very fun time. I love the cover for this one especially. So yeah, definitely check it out as well. All right, we got through all of those, all 76 holiday romance novellas. I didn't think I could do it, but we got through them. And hopefully that was quick enough, but gave you enough to check out some of these. Like I said, a few of these are on my TBR this season as well, but for the rest of them, I read a majority of them. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. And like I said, I just wanted a place to have all the holiday novellas to talk about in one video to look back on. So even if you don't check it out this year and you check it out next year, totally fine. I'm going to link in the description of the video all the books I talked about, all the titles, so you can go grab them as well as the other like holiday Christmassy playlists that I have of other Christmassy videos on my channel, because it is my favorite time of year and my favorite time to read so many holiday romances. I love them so much. So yeah, definitely hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any holiday romance novellas to recommend me, definitely let me know, because if you can't tell, I need more in my life, right? So definitely do that in the comments. If you'd rather leave an emoji in the comments today, I wish there was a candy cane or like a hot chocolate emoji, because especially with my perfectly themed shirt today from Lila June Co, by the way, which I love, and have a code in my description of my videos as well if you want to go check out their cute merch. But anyways, I wish there was a hot chocolate or candy cane emoji. So if you'd rather leave me a candy emoji or I think there's like a hot coffee one, we'll pretend it's hot chocolate. If you want to leave either of those emojis in the comments today, let me know that you watched this video. Please do. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I tried to keep it short and sweet, so hopefully it's not too long when I go to edit this. We shall see though. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!